If the periodic table were a city, the S block would be a small neighborhood filled with extremely similar houses and properties. Within the periodic table, the S block is located to the far left and includes all of the elements in the first two columns, columns 1 and 2, plus helium, which is located in the top right corner in column 8A, or column 18 on some versions of the periodic table. In the periodic table shown here, the S block is colored pink. The S block elements are the 14 elements contained within these columns. All of the S block elements are unified by the fact that their valence electrons, their outermost electrons, are in an S orbital. The S orbital is spherical and can be occupied by a maximum of 2 electrons. Elements in column 1 have 1 electron in the S orbital, and elements in column 2, plus helium, have 2 electrons in the S orbital. The S block elements include hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, rubidium, strontium, cesium, barium, francium, and radium. The periodic table shows exactly where these elements are within the S block. If the elements were houses in our hypothetical S block neighborhood, they would be very uniform, each one only slightly different than the other. This is markedly different compared to the other neighborhoods on the periodic table, which have a wider variety of houses in many shapes, sizes, and colors. All of the S block elements are metals. In general, they are shiny, silvery, good conductors of heat and electricity, and lose their valence electrons easily. In fact, they lose their trademark S orbital valence electrons so easily that the S block elements are considered to be some of the most reactive elements on the periodic table. The elements in column 1, known collectively as the alkali metals, except hydrogen, always lose their 1 valence electron to make a +1 ion. These metals are characterized by being silvery, very soft, not very dense, and having low melting points. These metals react extremely vigorously with water and even oxygen to produce energy and flammable hydrogen gas. They are kept in mineral oil to reduce the chance of an unwanted reaction, or worse, an unwanted explosion. The elements in column 2, known as the alkaline earth metals, except helium, always lose their 2 valence electrons to make a +2 ion. Like the alkali metals, the alkaline earth metals are silvery, shiny, and relatively soft. Some of the elements in this column also react vigorously with water and must be stored carefully. S block elements are famous for being ingredients in fireworks. The ionic forms of potassium, strontium, and barium make appearances in firework displays as the brilliant purples, reds, and greens. Francium is considered to be the most rare naturally occurring element on Earth. It is estimated that there is only ever 1 atom of francium present on Earth at a time. Francium has a very unstable nucleus and undergoes nuclear decay rapidly. As soon as it exists, it doesn't. As we're wandering around the S block neighborhood, we keep stumbling upon a couple of houses that don't seem to fit. Hydrogen and helium are gaseous elements that are grouped into the S block because they have valence electrons in the S block. Apart from that similarity, hydrogen and helium lack properties in common with the rest of the S block neighborhood. They are clear, odorless gases at room temperature. They are poor conductors and don't lose electrons easily. Helium is one of the noble gases, an especially non-reactive group of gases that reside on the far right side of the periodic table. Hydrogen is usually described separately from other elements. It is capable of many different kinds of reactions and is found everywhere. It may bond with itself or just about any other type of element. Very frequently, it exists in its ion form as H+. Hydrogen and helium are some of the most abundant elements in the universe. Of all matter in the universe, hydrogen and helium make up about 99% of it. They are the lightest elements on the periodic table, but also some of the most difficult to categorize. The stars in our universe, including our Sun, are mostly made of hydrogen and helium. The S block on the periodic table contains all of the elements in column 1 and 2 of the periodic table, plus helium, which is the topmost element in column 8A, or sometimes column 18. S block elements are the elements with valence electrons in the S orbital. Elements in column 1 have 1 valence electron, elements in column 2 have 2 valence electrons. S-block elements are very reactive. Elements in column 1, the alkali metals, always lose their 1 valence electron to form a +1 ion. Elements in column 2, the alkaline earth metals, always lose their valence electrons to form +2 ions. S-block elements, except hydrogen and helium, are metals that are shiny, silvery, relatively soft, good conductors, and lose electrons easily. Hydrogen and helium are similar to S-block elements in that they have valence electrons in the s orbital. Otherwise, they lack similar properties.